I told you this would happen eventually. Elected officials are now openly saying, yes, I say the N-word. A particular elected official admitted that he calls his neighbor the N-word. He's an elected official out of Tennessee. He said, and I quote, I called him the N-word, ain't going to lie. Tennessee alderman admits it. Let's put up a screenshot of this particular elected official out of Tennessee. Yeah, there he is. Now let me ask you this. Does he look like the kind of guy who would call his neighbor the N-word? I'll let you ponder on that. Thomas Dillard is his name, an alderman serving the city of Portland in Tennessee. Is facing calls to resign after he admitted to police that he hurled racist abuse at his black neighbor while the two were having an argument. Thomas Dillard is elected. Local news station WSMV reports that Dillard made the admission after police responded to reports of an angry dispute between the elected official and his neighbor over dogs that reside in the area. He said, I called him the N-word. I ain't going to lie. It might not be good to say with these cameras, but I'm ready to get this over with, man. To get what over with? Okay. Portland City Attorney tells WSMV that the city cannot yet release the full police video because it is part of an ongoing criminal investigation. Now, as soon as that video is released, naturally, we will bring it to you here on Indisputable. Dillard is facing calls from the local chapter NAACP to resign. According to a statement released, it says, and I quote, bigotry and the inability to settle disputes in a civil manner are not personal traits that should be espoused by any official elected to serve the public, said Reverend Thomas Staton, that's president of the county branch NAACP. It is unfortunate Alderman Dillard actions reflect poorly upon himself, the city of Portland, and the board of aldermen, of which he is presently a member. Hopefully the board of aldermen can rectify this, his current status. Okay, so here's the reality, okay? Because some people will say, well, you know, Doc, this was a personal situation. It got out of hand. He used a racial slur. He admitted to it. He's not governing in that moment. Here's the reality of why that doesn't fit here. There's no way for you to govern appropriately and effectively if you are in fact internally racist. Your aggressive bias, hyper-aggressive bias, your implicit bias, all of it will become part of your policymaking decision. That is the reason why he should no longer serve in public office. Literally, black people who are members of that community, white people who are not racist, have to pay his salary. That's unfair to the citizens of that local community because you are now making them fund individuals who are for their own oppression. Don't make me finance my oppression. Kyla, what are your thoughts here?
I totally agree what you said before. He uses this word regularly with his friends, his family, and probably his colleagues. The fact that he's expecting this to get ready to get over with it, that just shows that his colleagues, he heard this in his office before, and it goes into the continual and growing threat that we're seeing in local and state legislators, racist people crafting racist laws and continuing to uphold a system that shields racism. And it's really disappointing to see. I definitely hope that they hold him accountable and fire him, because like you said before, we do not need more racist people constructing the laws that impact Black and brown people of color.
You see, in order for a wound to heal, and I completely concur with what you just said, in order for a wound to heal, you must expose it. You cannot heal a wound that is isolated and covered. It must be exposed. You have to put disinfectant. You have to operate on that wound. And until we know who you are truly, we are unable. We have no ability truly to actually remove the cancer that exists. We have to first identify it. So I'm 100% for what's happening here, the exposure, the NAACP calling for him to resign. Based on the rules of the alderman board, there may be a way for them to remove him as well. We will see what happens.